The stars above Xylar Prime glimmered like shards of broken glass, each one distant, cold, and untouched. Below them, the city of Lyrian thrived in strange harmony, a sprawl of metal towers and crystal lights that seemed alive under the twin moons. The people moved like shadows across the streets, their eyes wary, their minds alert. Humanity was nothing in this sector, just another race in a universe crowded with more powerful, older civilizations. Yet, they did not know that the universe was about to test them in ways no one could predict. Commander Rylan Veer stood at the edge of the observation deck, hands resting on the cold glass railing. His jaw was tight, his eyes scanning the void where countless ships had appeared yesterday. The emissaries had arrived from the Zorith Dominion, a race known for their merciless strategies and advanced technology. They had come with words of alliance, offers of trade, and promises that sounded too convenient. Rylan did not trust easily, but he understood one simple truth: humans were underestimated, and sometimes underestimation could be a weapon. Below him, the city hummed with tension. Ships prepared for inspections, soldiers sharpened their blades, and scientists hurried between labs, carrying devices that even their creators did not fully understand. Humanity's technology was rudimentary compared to the alien powers around them, but what they lacked in advancement, they made up for in ingenuity. Every day was a battle against doubt, against fear, and now, against forces far beyond their comprehension. The first emissary to speak, a Zorith named Kael'tra, arrived in the council hall. She was taller than any human, her skin a dark iridescent blue, eyes glowing with quiet menace. "We come seeking allies," she said, voice smooth but sharp, like glass-cutting silk. "Your species is interesting, fragile, yet persistent. You may serve a purpose to the Dominion." Rylan felt a chill run down his spine. Interesting. That word carried more threat than promise. He studied Kael'tra carefully. Every movement, every pause, every subtle flicker of her expression spoke of strategy. She was not here to negotiate peace. She was here to see what humans could do, to measure their weaknesses and strength. The meeting lasted hours, filled with diplomatic gestures, veiled threats, and cautious dialogue. But outside the council hall, humanity prepared quietly. Scientists tested weapons that had never been used in combat, engineers reinforced city defenses, and soldiers trained in patterns designed to confuse any invader. Every step, every effort, was a gamble. Humanity had never faced such an overwhelming force, but survival had always been their answer when all odds were against them. In the darkness of the city's lower levels, a young engineer named Lyra Dax tinkered with a device that looked like nothing more than a metal orb. "This could change everything," she whispered to herself. Her fingers danced over the controls with precision, despite her nervousness. Humanity's ingenuity often hid in small, overlooked places. No one expected a simple orb to hold a power capable of turning the tide of a battle that even the Zorith thought inevitable. Meanwhile, Rylan returned to the observation deck, eyes catching a flicker of movement on the outskirts of the city. Shadows shifted unnaturally, as if the darkness itself was alive. A chill gripped him. The Zorith might have come seeking allies, but Rylan already sensed their true intention. They underestimated humans, not because humans were weak, but because humans had a stubbornness, a determination, that no technology could predict. By nightfall, the twin moons cast a pale glow over the city, illuminating both hope and fear. Kael'tra's presence was a constant shadow over Lyrian, yet humanity did not cower. Citizens whispered in crowded streets, sharing rumors of strange occurrences and mysterious sightings. Some spoke of lights that moved with a mind of their own, of energy that hummed in the air, as if the planet itself had decided to awaken. Rylan stood once more at the edge of the deck, the wind whipping around him. "They think they have come to control us," he murmured. "But they do not understand. They have seen only what we allow them to see." His gaze hardened. Humanity will not bow. Not today, not ever. And somewhere deep in the city, in places no alien eyes could reach, humans were preparing. Not for peace, not for diplomacy, but for the moment when the universe would realize that underestimation was humanity's greatest weapon. The emissaries thought they were studying weaklings, planning alliances, and mapping resources. But the humans of Lyrian had plans of their own, hidden behind layers of secrecy, stubbornness, and raw determination. And when the first act of defiance came, it would not just be a spark, it would be a storm. Above the city, the stars did not twinkle the same way tonight. Something had shifted. The universe had taken note of humanity, and humanity was ready. The sun rose over Lyrian, painting the city in pale gold. The streets were quieter than usual, but the air carried tension like electricity. Rumors had spread overnight, lights that moved on their own, strange energy pulses, and whispers among citizens that the planet itself was changing. The Zorith emissaries noticed these signs too, but they dismissed them as minor quirks of human life. They did not know that these small anomalies were part of a larger plan, a network of preparation humans had spun in secrecy. Lyra Dax moved through the lab corridors, clutching her device, the small metal orb she had been working on tirelessly. Every morning, she tested new calibrations, adjusting frequencies and energy outputs. She knew it was risky. A single mistake could destroy her equipment, or worse, alert the aliens to her work. But she had a strange certainty in her hands, a belief that this tiny invention could shift the balance. "They underestimate us," she whispered. "They always do." At the council hall, Commander Rylan Veer convened a private meeting with his closest advisors. The room was dim, lit by screens showing live feeds from the city's defenses. "The Zorith think they are observing us," Rylan began, his voice steady but firm. "But they have no idea what they are up against. We are not just humans. We are unpredictability. That is our advantage." One of his officers, a strategist named Malin Voss, frowned. "We are outnumbered, Commander. Their fleets alone could crush us if they chose. Why take risks?" Rylan's eyes narrowed. "Because they will take risks with us. They always do. And when they overreach, we strike. But the key is patience, discipline, and understanding that we are not weak. Not by a long shot." Meanwhile, in the lower levels of Lyrian, strange activity continued. Citizens began reporting shadows moving without figures, humming sounds in abandoned streets, and lights in the sky that didn't belong to any ship. Children whispered tales of glowing shapes that seemed alive, and elders spoke of legends coming true, legends of hidden human potential that awakened in moments of crisis. Lyra's device began to hum louder one evening, a vibration that resonated through the room. She felt it deep in her chest, an energy unlike anything she had experienced. "It's ready," she said softly. Her hands shook as she adjusted the final settings. Somewhere in the city, systems connected to her device responded. Lights flickered, energy grids pulsed, and shields that had long been dormant awakened. Humanity's defenses were no longer passive. They were alive, synchronized with the people who had always been underestimated. The Zorith emissaries remained unaware. Kael'Tra walked through the city, eyes scanning, analyzing, confident in her assessment. "Humans are primitive," she said to her aides. "Fragile, easily intimidated. They will comply once they understand the reality of the galaxy. Nothing more than pawns." But as she spoke, a faint hum began underfoot. Small vibrations, almost imperceptible, moved through the streets. Kael'Tra paused, a flicker of uncertainty crossing her glowing face. "Did you feel that?" she asked, though her aides did not respond. The energy was subtle, but it was growing, weaving through the city like an invisible tide. Rylan watched from the observation deck as the first signs appeared. He did not need sensors to tell him that something had changed. Humanity was awakening in ways that even he could not fully measure. "They think they are in control," he murmured. "They have no idea what's coming." That night, the first act of defiance began. Across the city, small drones and machines, human creations long considered too fragile for war, activated simultaneously. They moved with precision, disabling surveillance, opening pathways, and redirecting energy where it was most needed. The Zorith had underestimated even this layer of preparation. They saw anomalies but could not understand them. Every small human action multiplied into something much greater, a network of unpredictable resistance that no technology could fully anticipate. Lyra Dax stood in the shadows of her lab, watching the city respond. The orb in her hands glowed brighter, pulsating with energy. She felt a surge of pride and fear. If the Zorith discovered this too soon, it could mean disaster. But if she timed it correctly, it could become the first strike that humans were ready to unleash. Above the city, Kael'Tra's ship hovered silently. Sensors detected disturbances, waves of energy that did not match any known pattern. Her expression tightened. "Something is different," she said. Her voice carried tension, almost disbelief. The first seeds of doubt had taken root. She had expected humans to be predictable, to falter under pressure. Instead, they adapted, improvised, and evolved right before her eyes. And then, in the darkest hour before dawn, a light burst from the heart of the city, a beacon that no alien technology had predicted. Energy flared, pulses radiated outward, and the streets of Lyrian seemed to come alive. Citizens looked up, some in fear, some in awe. Humanity was no longer just surviving. Humanity was beginning to fight back, silently, cleverly, and with a force no one had seen before. Commander Rylan Veer stood, silent, on the observation deck. The stars above twinkled differently tonight, as if the universe itself had paused to witness the rise of something unexpected. "They wanted allies," he whispered. "What they got was humanity unleashed." The Zorith did not understand yet, but soon, they would. The humans of Lyrian had started a chain reaction that could not be stopped. Every calculated move, every whispered preparation, every underestimated human would converge into a force that even the most advanced civilizations could not control. The storm was coming, and humanity was ready. The city of Lyrian shivered under the light of the twin moons. Shadows twisted strangely along the streets, moving with purpose that no citizen had ever seen before. The Zorith emissaries believed they had control. They believed the humans were fragile and predictable. But tonight, all of their assumptions would begin to crack. Commander Rylan Veer stood at the central command hub, watching the city's energy grid pulse in perfect synchronization. Every sector, every district, was connected through hidden channels the Zorith could not detect. The humans had waited, silently preparing, and now the moment had arrived. Rylan clenched his fists. This was not just defense. This was the first step of showing the universe that humans were far from ordinary. Down below, Lyra Dax activated the orb once more. Its glow spread like liquid light, coursing through conduits and energy veins hidden beneath the city. Machines long considered harmless sprang to life. Drones, surveillance arrays, and energy projectors shifted their functions, creating a network of unpredictable activity. Even the streets themselves seemed to respond, lights blinking in sequences that mirrored human movements. In the council hall, Kael'Tra noticed the first disturbances. Screens flickered, alarms blared silently, and minor systems failed without explanation. "This is impossible," she hissed, her glowing eyes narrowing. "They are interfering with our sensors." "How?" Her aides scrambled to explain, but their voices faltered. The anomalies were subtle yet deliberate, precise yet chaotic. The humans had not just prepared for surveillance, they had adapted, improvised, and evolved in real time. For the first time, Kael'Tra felt a flicker of doubt, a sensation alien to the confident Zorith. Outside, the streets came alive. Humans moved in patterns that seemed random but were calculated with deadly precision. Civilians were guided to safety by the city's automated systems, while soldiers took positions only they could anticipate. Every step was a challenge to the Zorith's expectations. Every action amplified the sense of unpredictability. Rylan observed from above. "They think they are in control," he murmured, voice steady, "but they are merely walking into our plan." He did not need to issue commands. Every soldier, every citizen who had been trained or informed of their role, knew exactly what to do. Humanity's coordination was quiet, invisible, yet formidable. In a quiet alley, a small group of engineers monitored the initial reaction of the Zorith fleets. Small explosions erupted as energy shields misfired, drones malfunctioned, and sensors went haywire. None of the humans had fired a weapon yet, but the effect was undeniable. The Zorith had underestimated the simplest of human tools: creativity. Kael'tra stormed through the city streets, trying to assess the situation. Every movement she made was anticipated. Systems shifted, lights danced, energy flowed differently, confusing her senses. "They are everywhere," she muttered, frustrated. But how? The answer was simple. Humanity was not everywhere. They were in every action. Every device, every person, every thought in Lyrian became part of a living network. The orb, Lyra's creation, acted as the heart of the system, but the humans were the veins and nerves. Alone, they were weak. Together, they were unstoppable. As the night deepened, the first confrontation occurred. A Zorith drone attempted to breach the city's core defenses. It moved fast, silent, lethal. But as it entered the central square, the lights around it shifted violently, energy waves pulsing from hidden generators. The drone faltered, systems scrambled, and it crashed to the ground in a controlled collapse. Humans moved quickly, dismantling it, studying its technology with awe and precision. Rylan allowed himself a small, almost imperceptible smile. "This is only the beginning," he whispered. "They wanted allies, yes. But what they got was humanity, not just surviving, but prepared, unified, and relentless." Meanwhile, Lyra watched the orb pulse brighter. Energy flowed like rivers through the city, connecting machines, defenses, and human minds in a subtle, almost invisible web. "It's working," she whispered. "They can't predict us. They can't control us. Not now." Kael'tra's expression darkened as she finally understood. The humans were not fragile. They were clever. They were unpredictable. They were dangerous. Every plan she had relied upon, every assumption about compliance, was unraveling before her eyes. The Zorith fleet might be powerful, their technology advanced, but against this silent, adaptive resistance, even they were vulnerable. From the observation deck, Rylan surveyed the city one last time before night ended. The streets hummed with quiet power, a force waiting for the right moment to strike. Humanity had not yet revealed its full strength, but even this demonstration had shaken the Zorith. Soon, they would understand the cost of underestimating a species that refused to bow. And so, the first night ended, not with victory, but with revelation. Humanity had shown that they were not mere allies, pawns, or subjects. They were something the universe had overlooked for too long: determined, clever, and capable of unleashing power that no one could predict. The stars above Lyrian twinkled coldly, distant yet watchful. But down below, the city pulsed with life, energy, and determination. The universe had thought it could control humans. It had thought they were fragile. Tonight, it learned a different truth. Humanity was ready to fight, ready to survive, and ready to unleash the full measure of their potential. The city of Lyrian lay quiet in the early morning, but beneath the surface, the heartbeat of preparation was stronger than ever. Every alley, every tower, every hidden chamber held humans ready to act. Commander Rylan Veer stood at the command hub, watching the movements of the Zorith fleet. Their ships were still above the city, hovering with calculated patience, believing they could control a species they barely understood. Rylan clenched his fists. "They don't see the full picture," he muttered. "They never do." Around him, his officers nodded silently, their faces tight with anticipation. Today was the day humans would reveal just how dangerous underestimation could be. Lyra Dax adjusted the settings on her orb. Its glow was steady now, a deep, pulsing light that radiated energy across the city's network. "Ready," she said, almost to herself. "It's time." She moved to the central control, where the pulse could reach every connected system. Machines, shields, energy grids, all responded instantly to her command. Humanity's web of preparation was alive. Across the city, humans moved in synchronized patterns, as if invisible threads connected them all. Soldiers took defensive positions, engineers monitored energy flows, and citizens who had been briefed on evacuation or support roles followed quietly, efficiently. Lyrian had become a living organism, ready to strike with precision and coordination that the Zorith could not anticipate. The first offensive began quietly, almost unnoticed. Small drones, previously disguised as civilian machines, moved toward the outskirts of the Zorith ships. They carried simple electromagnetic pulses, but coordinated through the orb's network, their impact multiplied. Communications scrambled, shields flickered, and for the first time, the Zorith felt hesitation. Something unpredictable was happening. Kael'tra stood on the observation deck of her flagship, glaring at the sensors. "Explain these anomalies," she demanded. Her aides scrambled, their voices shaking. "Sensors are failing, Commander. Systems behaving erratically. It doesn't make sense." Rylan watched from the command hub as the first Zorith drone was forced down by a pulse wave. Soldiers moved quickly to dismantle it, collecting intelligence and studying the alien tech in real time. Every success, however small, sent a ripple through the city's network. Humanity's response was not just reactive, it was evolving. The Zorith tried to retaliate. Ships fired energy blasts toward the city, but the shields had been reinforced with unpredictable patterns. Beams that were supposed to strike vital points dispersed harmlessly into the sky, or were redirected by the city's automated systems. Humans moved through chaos with a calm precision that the aliens could not comprehend. Rylan allowed himself a brief smile. "This is only the beginning," he murmured. "They have seen what we allow them to see. They haven't seen our full strength yet." In a narrow street, a squad of human soldiers used the chaos to their advantage. They disabled surveillance arrays, redirected minor attacks, and created confusion among the Zorith patrols. Civilians assisted in subtle ways, guiding machines, relaying signals, and reinforcing defenses. Every action was small, but together they formed a force that was unpredictable, adaptive, and relentless. Lyra Dax watched the orb's glow intensify. Energy spread outward, connecting with hidden reserves, activating systems that had lain dormant for decades. The Zorith could not track it, could not predict it, and their every response only played into the humans' hands. "They don't know what they're facing," Lyra said quietly. "They have no idea." Above the city, Kael'tra's frustration grew. She realized that her fleet was being systematically confused, every move anticipated before she could react. The humans were not just defending, they were controlling the battlefield, shaping it with clever strategies that no amount of technology could fully counter. Rylan activated a secondary wave of offense. City defenses, previously hidden, now engaged in precise bursts. Laser grids, energy barriers, and autonomous drones coordinated to strike at weak points in the Zorith ships. Every hit was calculated, every effect amplified through the orb's network. The Zorith were powerful, but even their strength could not withstand an opponent who acted in ways they could not predict. The first major shockwave hit the flagship. Systems faltered, alarms blared, and Kael'tra struggled to maintain control. For the first time, she felt fear, a recognition that the humans were not just surviving. They were asserting themselves, fighting back with intelligence, courage, and a force that came from unity and determination. Rylan watched from the command hub as the Zorith fleet wavered. The humans of Lyrian had proven a point. They were not mere allies, pawns, or spectators in the galaxy. They were active participants, capable of turning the tide of any battle if underestimated. The city hummed with quiet triumph. Humanity had struck first, carefully, brilliantly, and the results were undeniable. Kael'tra knew that the universe had misjudged humans, and that realization alone was dangerous for the Zorith. Rylan took a deep breath. "They wanted allies," he said softly, voice carrying pride and resolve. What they got was humanity, unchained and unbroken. And somewhere, deep in the shadows of Lyrian, citizens watched the unfolding events with awe and determination. The battle was just beginning, but humanity had already shown its true nature. Clever, united, and ready to face a galaxy that had long assumed they were weak. The stars above Lyrian twinkled coldly, distant observers to a force they had never fully recognized. But down below, the city pulsed with life, strategy, and a determination that would not be ignored. The humans had taken their first stand, and the universe would never underestimate them again. The sun had barely risen over Lyrian, but the city was far from peaceful. The first wave of humanity's strike had shaken the Zorith fleet, and now retaliation came like a thunderstorm. Energy beams tore through the skies, drones swarmed the streets, and alien soldiers advanced in patterns humans had never seen before. The Zorith had learned quickly, and they were dangerous when provoked. Commander Rylan Veer stood in the command hub, eyes scanning multiple screens. The city was under pressure, but he felt no fear. Humanity had prepared for this. Every street, every tower, every citizen who could act had a role. They think they can intimidate us, Rylan said quietly. But they don't understand humans. Not yet. Lyra Dax adjusted her orb as energy ripples from the incoming Zorith attacks approached. The device pulsed faster, feeding power into the city's hidden systems. Automated defenses activated in response, shielding civilians, redirecting energy, and confusing the enemy. "Come on," she muttered. "Show me what you're really made of." On the streets, soldiers moved with precision, countering alien patrols while civilians executed evacuation and support tasks. Every action was small, yet every small action combined into something unpredictable. The Zorith had expected resistance, but they had not expected coordination at this level. Humans were not just defending, they were adapting, evolving with every strike the aliens made. Kael'Tra glared from the deck of her flagship. "They are responding faster than we anticipated," she barked. "Every system we deploy is countered before it even reaches them. How is this possible?" Her aides could not answer. The humans' networked defenses were unprecedented. Small devices, improvised weapons, even city energy conduits were integrated into a single, adaptive system that the Zorith could not predict. They had underestimated ingenuity itself, the one thing humans had in abundance. Rylan activated a secondary counteroffensive. Hidden drones surged forward, not to attack directly but to manipulate energy flows, confuse sensors, and isolate alien squads. Shields flickered unpredictably, streets appeared empty, and yet the humans moved through the chaos with exact coordination. The first major Zorith skirmish ended with confusion, not destruction, favoring the human strategy. In a quiet lab, Lyra's orb glowed brighter than ever. The energy pulse fed through the city's systems like a heartbeat, connecting machines and people in ways the aliens could not track. Even minor devices amplified the effect, creating microshocks that spread unpredictably. "It's working," she whispered. "We are everywhere. They don't see it coming." Kael'Tra's frustration boiled over. She realized brute force alone would not suffice. The humans were not just fighting, they were thinking, improvising, and using the city itself as a weapon. "Prepare the fleet for direct engagement," she ordered. "We will show them the meaning of power." But Rylan had anticipated this. Sensors tracked every ship movement, and automated defenses calculated responses before the Zorith could fully commit. Energy pulses, street-level drones, and human squads worked together to create illusions, misdirecting the aliens while keeping civilians safe. Every layer of attack revealed a new surprise, a new trick. The humans' adaptability was the weapon the Zorith had not considered. In the chaos, a small group of children watched from a hidden rooftop, their eyes wide but their hearts steady. They had been briefed, trained in small ways, and even they contributed. A simple signal, a redirected drone, a minor disruption, each action small alone, but together a force that defied alien expectation. Humanity had learned to fight as one, and every underestimated individual mattered. The Zorith ships faltered. Their strikes were less accurate, their systems scrambled, and their confidence shaken. Kael'Tra's pride began to crack. She had assumed dominance, but the humans' cleverness and unity rendered her assumptions dangerous. The more she pressed, the more unpredictable the humans became. Rylan surveyed the city from the command hub. Energy pulsed, drones shifted, soldiers moved like shadows, and civilians assisted silently in ways no alien could predict. "They think this is a test," he murmured. "But it's a lesson. One they will never forget." The first wave of human adaptation was complete. Lyra's orb had connected every available resource, creating a living network of energy, movement, and intelligence. The Zorath attacks, while powerful, were now struggling against a force that was not only strong but clever, agile, and determined. Above the city, Kael'tra realized a truth she could not ignore. Humans were not fragile, and they were far from predictable. Every expectation she had relied on was broken. The city itself had become a weapon, and the species she had underestimated had only begun to show its power. The sun rose higher, illuminating the city's glowing defenses and active streets. Humanity had endured the first major retaliation and had adapted faster than anyone imagined. The universe had assumed weakness, but Lyrian's citizens had proved otherwise. Commander Rylan Veer exhaled slowly, eyes scanning the horizon. "They wanted allies," he said softly, almost to himself. "What they got was resistance, and we are just getting started." The Zorath fleet regrouped, wary, unsure, and now facing a species that refused to bow. Humanity had survived, adapted, and struck back intelligently. And this was only the beginning. The night sky above Lyrian was alive with motion. The Zorath fleet had regrouped after their failed retaliation, their ships casting long shadows over the city. Kael'tra's eyes burned with frustration and disbelief. Her fleet was powerful, advanced, trained to dominate, yet the humans had survived every strike and adapted faster than she imagined. For the first time, she wondered if she had misjudged them entirely. Commander Rylan Veer stood at the observation deck, watching the alien ships move in formation. The city hummed with quiet energy beneath him, every street, every tower, every hidden device connected through the network that Lyra Dax had orchestrated. "They think they can corner us," he murmured. "But we are everywhere. We are not predictable. And tonight, they will see what humans are truly capable of." Lyra Dax activated the orb, sending waves of energy through the city and into the outskirts where the Zorath fleet hovered. Systems that had been dormant for decades came alive. Automated turrets, energy projectors, even street-level conduits pulsed with controlled power. Humanity had turned its home into a weapon, one that the aliens could not ignore. Below, soldiers moved like shadows. They struck quickly, disabling key Zorath surveillance drones, while civilians assisted in subtle, critical ways, guiding machinery, monitoring energy flows, and relaying signals. The humans were everywhere and nowhere, blending with their environment, turning every element of the city into part of their strategy. Kael'tra barked orders, her voice sharp with tension. "Target their generators. Overwhelm them." But her fleet's strikes were less effective than ever. The city's defenses responded instantaneously, shielding critical areas and redirecting energy, confusing sensors, and isolating squads of alien troops. Every move the Zorath made was countered with precision. Rylan leaned forward over the observation console. "It's time," he said. "Show them what they never expected." He pressed a series of controls, linking the orb to external systems. Hidden launchers across the city activated, sending compact kinetic pulses and electromagnetic bursts toward the Zorath fleet. The attacks were precise, coordinated, and unexpected. Ships faltered, energy shields flickered, and the fleet struggled to maintain formation. Kael'tra's eyes widened. "Impossible!" she shouted. "How are they coordinating so perfectly?" Her aides struggled to answer. Every system she relied upon was compromised, not through brute force, but through strategy, ingenuity, and adaptation. Humans had created a battlefield that no alien technology could dominate. In the chaos, a squad of human pilots took to the skies in small, nimble craft. They struck key points in the fleet, avoiding direct confrontation, and used the city's energy network to amplify their attacks. Each movement was calculated, but to the Zorath, it seemed spontaneous and unpredictable. The humans were not just defending, they were taking the fight to the aliens, demonstrating that they were not fragile, not passive, and certainly not controllable. Lyra watched the orb pulse with increased intensity. Energy flowed through the city, connecting systems and amplifying human actions. "It's working," she whispered. "We're everywhere. They can't fight us like this." The orb acted as the nerve center, but the humans were the lifeblood, turning every challenge into opportunity. Ryland's calm voice resonated across the command hub. They wanted to see how fragile we are. They wanted allies. But what they are seeing now is humanity unchained. Above the city, the Zoreth flagship wavered. Kael'Tra's pride was faltering. She realized that every assumption she had made about humans, their weakness, their compliance, their predictability, had been false. The species she thought could be controlled had transformed the battlefield itself, forcing the Zoreth into a reactive position. Across the city, energy pulsed and machines shifted in real time, responding to every alien maneuver. Civilians, soldiers, engineers, and pilots worked as one organism, a single force of adaptability, intelligence, and courage. Each strike against the aliens was small alone, but together they created a force the Zoreth could neither predict nor counter. The first major victory came as the flagship staggered under a coordinated strike of kinetic pulses, energy waves, and small craft attacks. Kael'Tra's crew scrambled to repair systems, but the human strategy left no opportunity for regrouping. For the first time, fear touched the face of the Zoreth commander. Ryland watched, eyes steady, as the fleet faltered. Humanity had not only defended their city, they had seized control of the battle's tempo, turning underestimation into a weapon. The aliens had underestimated their opponents at every step, and now they faced the consequences. The stars above twinkled coldly, distant observers to a species long underestimated. But below, Lyrian pulsed with life, strategy, and purpose. Humanity had taken the fight to the Zoreth, demonstrating cleverness, courage, and unity. And the universe, vast and indifferent, would never again consider humans weak. Ryland exhaled slowly. They wanted allies, he said softly. What they got was something the galaxy has never seen, humanity, unleashed. The city of Lyrian glowed under the twin moons, its lights reflecting off the energy shields and machines that hummed with life. The Zoreth fleet, once confident and overwhelming, now hovered in uncertainty. Commander Ryland Veer stood at the observation deck, eyes scanning the alien ships. The city below him pulsed like a living organism, every system, every human, every machine working in harmony. Kael'Tra's flagship shuddered as a coordinated strike from the humans disrupted critical systems. The alien commander's eyes burned with disbelief. How can this be? She demanded. Every maneuver she attempted was anticipated, every system countered. Humanity had turned defense into offense and unpredictability into power. Ryland's gaze did not waver. They wanted to test us, he said quietly. They assumed we would break, falter, or submit. But they underestimated the one thing no technology can control: human will. Lyra Dax's orb pulsed brighter than ever. Energy radiated through the city, connecting hidden devices, drones, and soldiers in perfect synchronization. Every strike the Zoreth attempted met resistance, redirection, or sabotage. Machines long thought too fragile became weapons. Streets, towers, and even civilian spaces became strategic tools. Humanity had transformed their home into a battlefield no enemy could dominate. On the streets, soldiers and civilians alike moved with purpose. Small teams of engineers guided energy flows, pilots disrupted enemy formations, and citizens executed critical support tasks with calm efficiency. Every individual contributed to the collective power, proving that underestimation of humans was a fatal mistake. Kael'Tra realized the truth she had been avoiding. Humans were not fragile. They were clever, adaptive, and unstoppable when united. Every assumption of weakness had been shattered. Her fleet faltered, disorganized under constant, unpredictable strikes. The humans had turned every challenge into an advantage, every setback into strategy. Ryland initiated the final phase. Hidden launchers along the city's outskirts fired a coordinated barrage, not to destroy, but to disable the remaining Zoreth fleet. Kinetic pulses, electromagnetic bursts, and energy waves struck in perfect harmony, guided by the orb and amplified through the city's network. Ships staggered, shields collapsed, and the alien formation broke apart under the relentless precision of human strategy. Lyra watched the energy pulses cascade through the city and into the fleet. Her hands trembled with exhaustion and exhilaration. It's working, she whispered. They can't recover. We've done it. Kael'Tra's expression hardened. She had faced countless adversaries across galaxies, yet never one like this. Humans were not just surviving, they were dominating. She realized that she had misjudged the most dangerous force in the universe, ingenuity combined with determination. Ryland's voice echoed through the command hub. They wanted allies, he said softly, but what they got was humanity unleashed. One by one, Zorith ships withdrew, damaged and disoriented. Kael'Tra gave the order to retreat, her pride and confidence shattered. The humans had survived, adapted, and struck with intelligence and unity that no alien technology could overcome. The city of Lyrian fell silent, but not in fear. It fell silent in triumph. Citizens stepped into the streets, gazing at the aftermath with awe. Machines powered down, shields dimmed, and the orb's glow softened. Humanity had endured the storm, proven their worth, and shown the universe that underestimation of their species was the gravest mistake any civilization could make. Ryland walked through the streets, soldiers and civilians alike nodding in respect and solidarity. Humanity had faced one of the most powerful alien forces and emerged victorious, not through sheer strength alone, but through intelligence, adaptability, courage, and unity. Lyra Dax lowered the orb, her hands shaking. She looked around at the people, realizing that what they had achieved was more than a victory in battle. It was a statement. Humans were not weak. Humans were not pawns. Humans were a force that could not be ignored, a species capable of shaping its destiny even against overwhelming odds. Above, the stars shone silently, bearing witness to a species long underestimated. Humanity had survived, adapted, and conquered not with domination, but with cleverness, perseverance, and unyielding spirit. The Zorith would retreat, but the legend of Lyrian, and the humans who defended it, would echo through the galaxy forever. Ryland looked at the twin moons, his eyes reflecting pride and determination. We were underestimated, he whispered. But now the universe knows. Humanity will not bow. Humanity will not break. Humanity will rise. And somewhere, far across the stars, other civilizations would take note. The humans of Lyrian had proven one undeniable truth. When underestimated, humanity did not falter, it unleashed its full power. The city pulsed with life, hope, and determination. Humanity had faced the storm, survived, and emerged not just victorious, but legendary. The universe had wanted allies. What it got was humanity, unpredictable, unbreakable, and unleashed.